The reason men in the Western culture don't really want to be married anymore, they're no longer seeking a marriage. This is why most men now are taking such a long time to propose. Um, and when they do propose, you know, they have these things that they want, right? That they require, prenups, etc., depending on the situation. But just to be very, you know, straight to the point and concise, the Western culture is just dominated by materialism, things, and instant gratification, and things that are not reality are most important for most people now. Instagram is probably to blame for that, and other social media platforms and TikTok, and just the way that other people live life. And you know, people want to live a life like some of these celebrities and whatever it may be. And I know that it's good to have goals and dreams and to have the best, right? You want the best for yourself, but the reason in the Western culture relationships are no longer lasting, especially marriages, is just because men have a lot to lose. Ladies, you guys have to understand that as men, we have a lot to lose when we literally work our asses off for so many years to be able to get a place to live, to be able to get a house, to be able to put food on the table, to be able to just to provide all the needs necessary for you, essentially. And if there's any kids involved with that matter, or will be involved. So we look at a lot of different things when we're dating people and we're getting to know people. We look at a lot of different behavioral patterns, and because we want to make sure that we ourselves are doing the right thing, because nothing good comes easy. And the money that we make, some of us make more money than others, also didn't come easy. You guys got to understand that we had to go through a stage of, you know, literally working towards our goals and setting up our futures in such a way that we can have some money to provide and to take care of ourselves. So when we meet somebody, we pay attention to the spending habits, because there's more to being in a relationship and having a partner than just the chemical of love, right? What creates the love, the idea of love. And so, you know, there's a connection, of course, involved, and that's important, but also spending habits are important. Behavioral patterns are important, right? If the man were to get sick, end up in a hospital, or get injured at work, depending on the line of work that he does, is are you female? Are you the female going to take responsibility to get a job and pay some of the bills now and help out in the household? So yeah, and I'm not saying all women are like this, but the vast majority of women want to live a life that's not real, and it's just not the truth, right? You're lying to yourselves. Having a family is a lot of work, dedication, you know. And so in the West, as men, we we have a lot to lose, right? Like if you guys can wake up one day and not want to be in the relationship no more, and maybe you lost feelings, you use the term, you know, we've outgrown each other, whatever it may be. You have one or two kids with this person. I've met some women with 3, 4 kids. Like, wow, insane. But and then you guys separate, and then here you go, he's paying child support for all 3 or 4 of those kids, you know. And so, and then plus whatever, like if there's a house involved, you get to take half of that. And so it's kind of like the decision that you guys both made at a particular time ends up benefiting only you. You see what I mean? And so it becomes like a scarcity to for men to really want to commit to a marriage, because we have a lot more to lose in the West. Um, which is why most men now are going to other countries to meet women, and because they have different laws, of course, and because they really want somebody that they can that you know that won't change on them like that. And sometimes I'm not saying don't things don't happen, because things happen, and people just kind of you you no longer are attracted to a person, right? But here in the West, it's just so women based. You know, women get all these types of help, and it's it's unfortunate that most men, not all, but most men have to go through sort of a process of, you know, trials and tribulations in the sense, and I'm not saying women don't go through this too. You guys go through some hardships, absolutely. But when at the end of the day, when we're married with you, you guys end up with half when you guys want to call it quits based on your emotions of the day or the emotions of the year. It's just the reality. It's the gravity of the situation. And so most men that I meet that are hardworking, dedicated, and ambitious, I've heard them say, I think I'm better single. I'm okay with being single, blah, blah, blah. I'm not making this shit up. This is real talk. I wanted to interview some of them, but they say they're not really comfortable with it, so that's fine. But I'm just letting you guys know this is what's going on. It's just most men are, they're losing kind of trust and, and them having a long-term relationship because women want to call things quits sporadically sometimes. I've had that happen to me multiple times, not just once, multiple times, Oh, well, things that literally could be worked on. Oh, I just don't want to, I just want to deal with it. And boom, we're on our separate ways. And so something simple as communication, something simple as I don't like that you do this or don't do this. And so I've experienced it. I've seen it myself. I've been in the game now for a decade. I've dated, had great relationships, had terrible relationships. But most importantly, I've always made myself aware of the behaviors in the relationships that will lead to a relationship to be a bad one. So, and that's mostly just because it came from talking to a lot of experts in the field of trauma and marriages, things like that, relationship trauma, marriages. But I just kind of want to advocate that, not advocate, but just kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on in the male psychology now. Like now it doesn't benefit men to marry because it's just sad that the span now is a year or two in a relationship. Some men want to get married within that year and then all of a sudden get divorced by year 3 or by year 2. I know people that have gotten divorced 6 months later, called it quits a month later, called it quits 24 hours later. Like it's insane. Like this is mind-boggling, the reality that we're living in today. But it's sad because people are creating humans, we are creating other kids. We're creating humans. Not me, I don't have a kid yet myself, but marriages create humans, and then those kids go through trauma because their parents no longer are together. They go back and forth. I gotta go get dropped off at my aunt's house. I gotta go get dropped off at my grandma's house. I gotta go get dropped off at Nina's house, whatever it may be. And then you guys move on. You guys have kids with other people, and it just becomes a disaster. Like you guys are like literally playing fucking school office, like, and busting kids around, and these kids are like all over the fucking place, and they're like, well, which one's my house? Which one's my home? I remember growing up like that as a kid. I never knew where my home was. I moved around a lot. It was a disaster, and primarily because I came from a situation similar to what's going on now. Like it's a disaster to see kids not just going back home to their parents, it's going back home to one parent, going back home to the other. Like it's not okay. This is the situation that we're living in, and this is what's causing a lot of chaos, and it's causing not only relational chaos, but it's causing a lot of damage to the new generation of children, and even the past generation of children that grew up without parents or foster kids, etc. A lot of them are damaged, and if they're very aware, they'll get through the damage by seeking help, and or better themselves and not doing the mistakes that their parents committed. But yeah, I want to end it with that.